Yo, what is going on, guys? It's Bruin Steel here. I'm your host, and welcome to another WWE broadcast talk and recap. This time we are recapping Friday Night Smackdown from this past Friday, which happened on what's the date today? 10th night? September 8th, 2023, and this took place at TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts, a place I'm quite familiar with, but yeah, we are recapping Friday Night SmackDown from September 8th in TD Garden. We have a lot to talk about it. I am joined by, once again, Canadian Yorker, who's been the only one that's been on my broadcast. Hopefully, I do want to find more people. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing awesome tonight. How about yourself?
Good. I can't wait to talk about my this broadcast. So let's get to it. A lot of stuff happened this past Friday night on SmackDown. I don't think there was an actual personal and actual opener, like a promo, to open the show. I think it just went to a match right away. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you know, I don't know. I didn't see anything. I think it just went straight to the first match of the night. I didn't know if there was any open segments once the show started off, because usually that's the case. There's segments that are opened up to start off the show, but I didn't see any. But I apologize if I missed it. But yeah, moving on to the first match, I think it just happened. I think that was the first opener. I think it was just the first match. Charlotte Flair teaming up with Shotzi against Damage Control, Bayley and IYO Sky, the woman's champion. I think that's what they call it now. It's weird, but yeah, IYO Sky, who's the woman's champion right now, in a tag team match. So yeah, it went pretty back and forth. I think my favorite part was when Shotzi hit that moonsault. Bayley getting thrown through the barricade by Charlotte Flair. That was great. And then at the end of the match is where it got intense. A freaky Asuka came out of nowhere. Barely noticed her. Dakota Kai was holding IYO Sky's title. Asuka came right behind her. Didn't notice her. Bayley was on the top rope. Noticed her. And IYO Sky stole Asuka stole IYO Sky's title and laughed, scaring the hell out of Dakota Kai. And off of the distraction, Charlotte Flair tagged in Shotzi. Shotzi gets the suplex on Bayley. Charlotte Flair and Shotzi gets the win by pinfall off of a suplex by Shotzi, thanks to Asuka distraction. And then afterwards, Asuka sent IYO Sky a message saying that she wants a chance at winning back her title. So, what do you think of this first match?
I think it's a great match. It's been building for some time, and all of a sudden, it just random. It was an interesting match. Um, yeah, with the damage control, fighting in a tag team match, which they lost thanks to Asuka. It was something out of the ordinary, especially with Asuka coming out of nowhere and distracting them and winning the title back. And of course, Asuka's going to want the title back because she lost it thanks to IYO Sky cashing Money in the Bank in on her. So she wants her revenge. And it's going to be a really good, interesting match between these two Japanese wrestlers. And I think a lot of people are looking forward to seeing these two ladies go at it. They obviously have clashed before in the past, I believe, but now we're seeing them. This feud is building up between both these wrestlers. IYO Sky is an interesting wrestler, and Asuka, of course, is crazy, freaky crazy wrestler. But I think it's going to be entertaining. I'm going to be paying more attention to this matchup.
All right, so yeah, and then
What
post
do you think about
match.
it, Jeff? What do you think about it?
Yeah, I think it's interesting to see two of the same culture going at it, two Japanese women going at it. I do want to mention post match, Asuka stole the women's championship in front of IYO Sky and then dropped it in front of her. So, by the way, it's announced. I didn't mention it, but it is announced. It's official. Asuka will go one-on-one with IYO Sky in 2 weeks' time for the Women's Championship on an episode on Smackdown. So it's gonna be a great match. I kind of expected them to get booked at like maybe Fastlane. There might be a possibility that something's gonna happen between the two, which may be a disqualification or a double countout or something like that, setting up a rematch at Fastlane. So that's something that I can see happening. Um, so yeah, in 2 weeks' time, we'll see Asuka versus IYO Sky for the Women's Championship. So the next segment is a backstage segment. They showed a recap of the Jimmy Uso's drama last week. And backstage, Jimmy Uso actually met up with Paul Heyman and then said that he wants to be back in the bloodline, which just makes the whole storyline really confusing because Jimmy Uso, if you don't remember when the whole Usos betrayed Roman, Jay's like, "What are you doing?" And then Jimmy's like, something something I should have done a long time ago, and he super kicks Roman, and now he wants to go back into Bloodline. What is the storyline? But he wants to. Jimmy Uso met up with Paul Heyman in the backstage, and he wants to rejoin the Bloodline. And Paul Heyman said Solo Sikoa and Roman aren't here tonight. Obviously, he was lying because Solo showed up tonight during that show. And he's like, oh, Roman have to decide that, and then he said that, tonight you gotta take care of AJ Styles. Yeah, and then they leave, and then Paul Heyman actually runs into AJ Styles, and then AJ Styles confronts him, takes him by the shirt, and then rams him against the wall and is like, "Who do you think you are?" And then Jimmy out of nowhere. It looked like a sneak attack, so it was a sneak attack. Jimmy Uso attacked AJ Styles, and then that's pretty much it. Heyman calls Roman Reigns on the phone, and then it goes to commercial break. So, what did you think of that backroom segment?
I think Jimmy Uso is a little off the hinge right now because I mean he attacked Roman, and then he put on a farce that I'm gonna he wants to protect his brother from Roman, and then when Jay's about to win the title from Roman, um, he attacks Jay over that, and then he makes Jay lose, and now he just wants to get back into the bloodline. It just seems like, well, this was all planned from the start to make Jay leave the bloodline or something along those lines. So
Yeah.
it just seems a little bit. It seems a little bit like this was planned from the start. Like Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns planned this for Jey Uso to cause disruption between Jimmy, and Jay. And it's kind of interesting twist to the story. And now Jay is in Raw now, so this is going to be an interesting switch. And I think Jimmy's going crazy. He's showing his crazy side, and that's making that he's like a mad dog. So Roman, Solo, and Heyman are going a little bit, kind of being wary of him because he's like a mad dog right now. He's just attacking everybody, and they don't trust him. They clearly don't trust him.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. I do want to mention. I want to get through this broadcast, but I do want to mention that AJ Styles did meet up with the OC in Mayayun, and he was pretty upset. Slammed one of the guy's phone to the ground, and people are saying that we might be seeing the end of the OC, but after we know more about that, we can talk about later. But moving on to the next segment, LA Knight, probably SmackDown's fan favorite, obviously. Give me a yeah. But he comes out and then shares his thought about The Miz coming out, dressing him like him, and then talking about how The Miz blamed John Cena, and then LA Knight's like, oh no, I didn't pay John Cena or whatever. So the segment one goes on, and he gets interrupted by Grayson Waller, who right now I think is hilarious. I don't mind. I despised Grayson Waller, but now I really, really like him. I think his Grayson Waller effect shows are really nice, and he's hilarious. The segment that he had with Austin Theory was completely hilarious, which he introduced Austin Theory. So there was Austin Theory and Grayson Waller confronting LA Knight, and they were just like, oh, we're the undefeated tag team, and we are undefeated because we beat one team, which was the Latino World Order. We beat Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar last week, and they're just like, ranting about how they're undefeated. And then yeah, and then they were talking about, oh, Austin Theory beat John Cena, and he's still ranting about it, like he's still bragging about it. And then
Yes.
yeah, and then and then it just like, oh, LA Knight saying that, oh, you're two are cute together and stuff like that, and then LA Knight challenged Austin Theory to match, or it was Austin Theory challenging LA Knight to a match. So um and
I
then yeah,
believe LA.
so it was Austin Theory. The next match for the night, it was that night was Austin Theory versus LA Knight. And then Grayson Waller was on commentary. It was back and forth, honestly. And then LA Knight just started beating the shit out of Austin Theory's head first into the announce table. And then it just went back and forth. And then it just, yeah, back suplex and DDT and stuff like that. But at the end, Grayson Waller tried to get involved, being a dickhead. And then LA Knight gets the win over Austin Theory by his finisher, the BFT. LA Knight gets the win by pinfall. So, what did you think of the promo segment they had in their one-on-one match?
Yeah, I think it was great, and I believe that Austin Theory said that he beat Ellen Knight in the past, also along with John Cena. So it was a good matchup between both of them, Austin Theory and LA Knight. We're seeing LA Knight going at Austin Theory now. He's moving up the rankings and proving himself to be the megastar that he is. And Austin Theory, of course, no one likes him still. Grayson Waller, I'm not too sure about Grayson Waller. I think he's still an interesting guy, an interesting character, sort of like The Miz, but he's really got to get some wins under his belt. He's got to get some championships. He really hasn't achieved any of that stuff other than building himself up. So he's got to get some belts.
All right, so I just go through another backstage moment was Adam Pearce was talking to Paul Heyman, and then Heyman wants to know from Adam Pearce who gets traded to Raw, and then LA Knight rolls up and actually meets Paul Heyman for the first time, so they had a little segment there. And yeah, it's actually announced that LA Knight wants another rematch, so I believe next week on Friday Night Smackdown, LA Knight will get a rematch against The Miz in a one-on-one action. So that's gonna be fun to watch rematch, but it's not probably exciting as with some people because they're sick of the LA Knight feud. So Paul Heyman and Knight went at it, and Paul Heyman said, "Oh, next time, please knock while he's doing business." And Knight just goes into the face and says, "Yeah, there's nothing too much yet. I don't know if you have any thoughts." Um,
I think that was a bit saucy right there. It's a bit saucy because we're seeing this crossover of Heyman and Roman versus LA Knight, which is another possibility in the future. So kind of interesting seeing how things will go at that angle. But right now, there's a little tension there, but it is what it is.
all right, the next official segment, the Judgment Day. Yeah, they're gonna be on both SmackDown and Raw because they have both titles. But the three men of Judgment Day, Damien Priest, Finn Balor, and Dominic Mysterio. Rhea Ripley was actually busy working in India for that Super Spectrum event. So it's just the three of them, and then Finn Balor says no one in the world is better than them. They accomplished something that Roman never did, is to win the undisputed tag team titles from Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, and that's basically it. And then the Brawling Brutes, Sheamus's guys came and confronted them, and they said that it's Rich Holiday said that it shouldn't be him that they should worry about. It should be Butch that should be worrying about. Baylor laughed at the idea, but Butch Wishbone's Finn Balor's finger like cracked it, starting a tag team match between the Brawling Brutes, Butch and Rich Holiday versus the Judgment Day, Damien Priest and Finn Balor. Yeah, it went back and forth. I think it was a great match. But I kind of expected who was going to win this one. At the end, it was brutal. Damien Priest was, I call it choke slams. I don't know what else I can call it. But Damien Priest was two choke slams on Rich Holiday and Butch, leading to the win, which Finn Balor goes on the top rope, hitting the coup de grace on Rich Holiday to get the win, 1-3. The Judgment Day, Damien Priest and Finn Balor defeats Brawling Brutes, Butch and Rich Holiday by pitfall off of a coup de grace from Finn Balor. So what did you think of this match?
I think it's a good match. It's a good push for the Judgment Day to continue growing as a team, and they don't have to worry about what's his name, Damian Priest, Money in the Bank contract. I guess they can save that for another day, but right now they're focused on defending themselves and defending their titles. So it's great. It's great to see them pushing. And I think I'd like to see more of this feud in the future because it's an interesting feud for the Judgment Day.
Well, yeah, I do want to mention. I thank you for mentioning the word feud because right after post match when the Judgment Day were celebrating, Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits came out and confronted Judgment Day. So I'm telling you right now, I want to see that feud. They were all staring a hole at each other, and Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits. Bobby Lashley said to Damian Priest's face that you guys aren't running the bloodline is done, but the Judgment Day aren't going to be taking over. It's so I want to see. I can definitely see the Street Profits being the next Judgment Day's challenge for the Undisputed Tag Team Championship. So I think that there's going to be a feud between Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits and the Judgment Day. That's going to be a great feud.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's gonna be an exciting feud. Of course, the Judgment Day have to worry. Street Profits has to worry about Rhea Ripley coming out there and taking over the match. So they're gonna need somebody to defend them against Rhea Ripley. And I think a good an addition to their team would be Bianca Belair. But of course, she's out. Even though she's out, if she recovers,
Yeah, people are people are people are interested in seeing Bianca joining them, and then Rhea Ripley having a Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair feud with Bianca in that faction with Bobby Lashley. And according as you may know, Bianca Belair's husband is in the Street Profits, so that'd be interesting to see Bobby Lashley, Street Profits, Bianca versus the Judgment Day and Rhea. That would be awesome. Like I want to see that.
Yeah, that would be an amazing.
Because if you remember, it was way back when Bianca was champion. Rhea Ripley had confronted Rhea, saying that, "Oh, once I'm done with your business, me and you can settle it." So there could be a chance. So
yes, there could be. And there's also the facts of
OC.
The OC too. We haven't seen much of the OC. We've seen JJ Styles and the OC get beaten up, and
poor AJ Styles. Poor AJ Styles getting beat up all over the place.
I don't know why. I don't know why that's happening. Because that guy has three other teammates, and they can beat the Judgment Day. Because the Judgment Day has what? Roman, his brother, and the two guys, and they're outnumbered. So they can take on. They can actually take on the Judgment Day right there. I mean, they can take on the Judgment Day because they fought the Judgment Day in the past. Um,
The thing is, like Jimmy Uso wants to get back into the bloodline. Let's say Roman does accept him back. It will be Roman, Jimmy Uso, and Solo. That's three people right there. That could be something, but we gotta see. But we gotta see. But moving on to the main event. By the way, I do want to mention IYO Sky is the one that challenged Asuka to a match, and it is 2 weeks time. So 2 weeks, Asuka and IYO Sky is gonna face off in a match, and Asuka got interviewed saying that she never got a rematch. This guy has her title and she's coming back for it. But moving on, I don't want to talk about too much about the Asuka match, but it's interesting. But moving on to the main event, we have AJ Styles versus Jimmy Uso. It was an absolute amazing match. I think AJ Styles wants to get revenge since he lost last week. Was it against Solo? I forgot. Yeah, it was against Solo. And he wants to get revenge. And then obviously Jimmy Uso doesn't think that Solo's here that night, but Paul Heyman lied. And there you go. Paul Heyman came out with Solo distracting Jimmy, and Jimmy was happy. And then AJ, it was back and forth. Um, AJ Styles was pushed out of the ring, and then Solo went pretty close to him, and then Jimmy confronted him. Solo turned away from him, so I don't think there's any trust yet. And then AJ Styles attacked Jimmy, and then attacked Solo, and then tried to get a piece of Paul Heyman, and then went back and hit the phenomenal forearm on Jimmy Uso and gets the 1, 2, 3. AJ Styles defeats Jimmy Uso. With the phenomenal forearm, which is deadly. I love AJ Styles' move. That's one of AJ Styles' my favorite AJ Styles move, the phenomenal forearm. Gets the win, 1, 2, 3. Afterwards, Solo tries to attack him, but AJ Styles slips away. But then Judgment Day comes out, attacks AJ Styles. So this is where it gets interesting. Judgment Day comes out and attacks AJ Styles and offers AJ Styles by bringing him back into the ring, offering it to Solo, who stares at them, and then Solo Sikoa attacks AJ Styles. Like I said, big rip to AJ Styles. Why? It's just so sad. Hits AJ Styles with a Samoan spike and stares down Damien Priest and Finn Balor. Like, what can this mean? Are we possibly seeing a alliance between the Bloodline and Judgment Day? That's just a question. We have to see what happens, but that was just mind blowing seeing what happened, and poor AJ Styles. So yeah, AJ Styles defeats Jimmy Uso by phenomenal forearm by Pitfall. What are your thoughts?
I would have to agree that with your speculation that there's an alliance between the Bloodline and Judgment Day, because I believe after Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens won the tag team titles, the Bloodline went straight to the Judgment Day to try to beat down on Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, and then the Bloodline came in to clear up the business. So I believe that there's some sort of alliance going on here. I think that I'm going to take it a step further, that it could be a super heel. This is a super heel faction, sort of like how you have super teams in the U.S. and in the NBA, where you have players colluding together to create super teams. This could be a sign of a super alliance, super heel thing. Even though they're both doing their own thing, this could be a sign that this bloodline slash
there is also something that I want to mention is people are saying that this is a Judgment Day way of trying to be secret. So this might be a pass to get the bloodlines trust. It's a pass for Damien Priest to cash in on Roman. People are saying that that's a possibility.
I mean, if that happens,
it may be a pass. If the Bloodline and the Judgment Day make an alliance, Roman Reigns might have to watch it back. That's what I'm saying.
There's that saying: keep your enemies close and was it keep your enemies close and your friends close and your enemies closer. So yeah, Roman. I mean, Roman definitely has to watch his back. He's weak. He's weak. His bloodline is showing a lot of vulnerability right here, and of course the most they have to watch is Judgment Day will come and attack them when they're weak in the weakest moment. Even Paul Heyman, you have to watch Paul Heyman too. You got to watch out for Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman's known to betray. You know, he might betray the bloodline during the Judgment Day, and then
Yeah,
they
so
might
it's
come out
it's
of.
really it's really interesting because there's a lot of angles because we saw the Judgment Day. Like Judgment Day has different passes, you know. Judgment Day, they were
Yeah,
confronted by Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits. Now they offer AJ Styles to the Bloodline, trying to make a maybe alliance with them, so we could see alliance between the Judgment Day and the Bloodline. But we saw Bobby Lashley and Street Profits confronting them, and the question is Finn Balor truly finished with Seth freaking Rollins because right now Seth freaking Rollins is feuding with Shinsuke Nakamura, but there was actually a camera angle back after Shinsuke Nakamura attacked Seth Rollins again. Sorry, Raw business, but there was a camera pointed to the back. Damien Priest was deciding if he wanted to cash in on the injured Seth Rollins. But Rhea Ripley says not today. So the question is Damien Priest gonna catch it on Seth Rollins or Roman? So there's a lot of angles. So I don't know. Look. I still think I'm just going for the angle that I feel that I've been going for throughout the months. I still think Damon Priest is gonna cash in on the World Heavyweight Championship because thing is, people are saying Roman's gonna drop the title to Cody at WrestleMania. So we'll see. That's just my angle.
yeah. I think what if Roman drops the titles to Cody, right? Then after Roman drops the titles to Cody, you get the biggest upset of the year with Damian Priest
But I don't
cashing
know. I don't
in
know exactly when
on
the Money in the
Cody.
Bank
Cody.
expires, though. That's the issue, though. I think it might be expired
But
before WrestleMania. I think.
yeah, if that happens, man, that would be insane. I mean, that means Cody would have to go back and do everything all over again. All that work would be for nothing. I
Yeah, but
mean,
like
it
I
would be
said,
crazy
there's a lot of
if it
angles, but
happened.
I feel like this is my angle. I feel like Damian Priest is gonna cash in on Seth or Shinsuke Nakamura. I still don't think Shinsuke is gonna win the World Heavyweight Championship because they've been um, building up Seth Rollins versus Roman champion versus champion at Survivor Series. That's my thoughts. But I think Judgment Day next challengers is probably going to be Bobby Lashley and Street Profit. That's going to be a great feud. I want to see that. I don't know
Yeah,
about the alliance with the bloodline. I think it's just too cringy, you know. But we can see Rhea Ripley and Roman teaming up. That's just crazy. Like what you got? You got Finn Balor who has history with Roman. You got Dominic Mysterio who also has history with Roman, and then you have Damon Priest. And I don't know if Damon Priest and Roman ever faced off against each other. And then Rhea Ripley, I don't know. Roman never teamed up with a female wrestler before. I don't know, but
yeah.
there's a lot of
But the thing is,
options.
yeah, it sounds really cringy, and the reason why it sounds so cringy is because Roman doesn't have to, Damian Priest doesn't have to also or cash in on on Roman. He could also cash in on Gunther too.
Well,
So
who wants to?
if he cashes in,
True, true. Gunther, by the way, congratulations to Gunther, by the way, for passing the honky tonk record. People are like thinking that he's the new Roman, and it's like I hate him now. He's gonna can suck Triple H's dick. You know, he's pulling a Roman now. I hate him, but I don't. I like Gunther. He's a great have. He delivers the best promos. I think he's hilarious sometimes. But anyways, I don't want to talk
yeah,
too much. Any last thoughts on this show? Overall, I think the show was great. I think it was pretty short. But overall, I think I give this a B minus.
I think it's great. That there's a lot of different angles that they're coming from. You never know what might happen. with this, with all these different possibilities out there.
Possibilities who's gonna get traded from Raw to SmackDown. I still think Cody Rhodes to
Yeah, I
finish the
think Cody
story with
Rhodes.
Roman. To finish
It
the
will
story with
be,
Roman.
yeah, it will be revealed. We don't know what's gonna happen, but there's all these different type of possibilities out there. Of course, I just want to mention one team. I know you probably heard about the Viking Raiders. Um,
Yeah.
I think they kind of winning a few matches out there. They're probably a team to look out for, because they're getting a lot of steam. Um, so they're one of those teams out there that to kind of look out for. Of course, there's the A team. I forget the guys, Otis and Chad Gable. Um, they're kind of interesting. Also,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I haven't really seen them do any tag team matches or singles matches,
Yeah,
but
we
they
can talk to the Viking. We can talk about the Viking Raiders if they show up next week. But yeah,
yeah.
that's the end of the show. It was a great show at the TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts. That's your recap, guys. Um, I hope you guys enjoyed this broadcast. I'm your host, Bruin Steele. But before I go, you all know that tomorrow is September 11th, and I want to give my condolences to those civilians that lost their lives 22 years ago on 9/11. I want to give a shout out to the firefighters who risked their lives to save those people, and never forget 9/11. Share your thoughts, pray. My thoughts and prayers to the families who lost their loved ones on that horrible day. And yeah, that's it. Anything you want to add, Canadian Yorker?
Yeah, I have to say, I definitely have to give shout outs to the family members of those who lost their lives and those who were there in that moment and when September 11th happened. So just pray for those families, pray for our country, pray for our state, and just love and peace to everyone out there in the world. And see you guys in the next podcast.
All right, so yeah, that will do it. Thank you guys for watching once again on this broadcast, and that was our recap for the SmackDown September 8th, 2023 in TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts, and we'll be back for our recap on Tuesday when we talk about the Monday Night Raw, which is happening on September 11th, actually. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and Canadian Yorker, thank you for joining. And if there's any last minute thing you want to add.
We'll be seeing you. I'll be seeing you again, and we'll be also be having a special guest, another guest joining us on Tuesday. So
Yeah,
see you soon.
see you guys later. Thank you guys for watching.